At the Belfry, it's Europe and the USA. Here in London, it's the red, white and blue of Crystal Palace trading shots with the blue of Gillingham. In Trevor Francis, the Eagles have a leader who's seen it all before. But with his side in 19th place, the Vultures have been circling. His opposite number, Andy Hessenthaler, is a non-playing captain today, and he needs his selections to find some consistency to move up the leaderboard. Injury has afflicted both squads, but it's a familiar course. The galleries are packed, and both managers need their wild cards to perform today. Three points at stake in this match, and they're just as priceless. Palace with only one home win so far this season. Overall, one win in their last 9 against Gillingham, who after starting brightly have won only one of their last 7 league games. Welcome to Selhurst Park. My guest is Lenny Lawrence, whose Cardiff sit proudly top of Division 2 at the moment. Lenny, there's a section of the Palace supporter here who've been getting at Trevor Francis of late. How important is this home match to him?
I think it's an important one to win. I think they're in a false position that low down the league. I think they've got a better squad than that, and obviously they'll still be harbouring hopes of making a promotion challenge, but it is a game he needs to win today. As you say, Gillingham have not done too much in terms of results lately, although they're always capable of springing a surprise. But with Andy Hessenthaler himself not playing, it's a great opportunity for Palace to get 3 points on the board today.
They'll have a new goalkeeper in the middle today, and one on the bench as well, to solve their goalkeeping crisis. So how much of a disruption is that for them?
It's an interesting one there. Obviously Matt Clark and Kalinko being injured. I saw Metropolis at Burnley a few times last year. I always thought he was a good goalkeeper, a Greek lad. So but obviously having to bring 2 in simultaneously is not ideal, but the other boy Schwer, I don't know too much about. I think it was Khan's understudy at Bayern. So be an interesting one, but he's got to get used to the defence and everything else. So not ideal, but I still think that Palace will edge it.
Andy Hessenthaler at Gillingham, has he been overachieving in a sense?
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll tell you, he's done brilliant. First of all, Gillingham's a small club, they've done well to get there and do as well as they have in the first division. And secondly, he's been playing as well. He's the best player nearly as well. So he has done exceptionally well, playing-wise, and to do both jobs, because that is a hard thing to do. And he has done really well. He's one of the promising young managers. He is.
He's got 3 suspensions today, including himself, so he can't be on the field. That'll be frustrating for him, won't it?
That'll be a loss for them, because he's still a very good player at this level. But he'll be able to stand back on the side and be able to see what's going on. So, it'll be a difficult one for him today, though, because Palace will know that they need these 3 points.
OK, it's a big game for both teams. Your commentators, Tony Gale, and first of all, Ian Crocker.
Thank you, George. It's a super sunny Sunday in southeast London, as Crystal Palace and Gillingham round off the nationwide action this weekend. 3 Palace players were injured at Sheffield Wednesday midweek. Andy Johnson, Steve Thompson and keeper Alex Kalinko all miss out today. With Matt Clark out for the season, Trevor Francis has had to bring in 2 keepers. Nick Makopoulos on loan from Burnley, and German Sven Scher, who spent most of his career with Bayern Munich. Curtis Fleming is one of several sideline, but Aki Rialati is fit, and Sean Derry makes an earlier than expected return to the squad after breaking his nose.
Well, both teams will be lining up 4-4-2 today, Ian, but with a difference. Palace will have 4-4-2 and they'll have width within their side. The width will be coming from Routledge on the right-hand side and Julian Gray on the left. Have a look at young little Routledge today. Little pocket battleship, a Sean Wright Phillips in the making, I hear. Julian Gray on the left, not quite as much pace as Routledge, but an educated left foot, and he'll get those crosses into the area. Well, I hope that Adibola's on the end. Dougie Freedman dropping deep, making up the spare midfield player, could make it difficult for the Gills. Solid back 4 for them. Powell being the more athletic of the 2, you would think that he'll pick up Wallace.
Well, it's Palace feel depleted. Gillingham know how they feel. Mark Saunders, Kevin James and player boss Andy Hessenthaler are all suspended. A lengthy casualty list includes former Eagle Simon Osborne and Roland Edge, who knocked a knee in training on Friday. So Leon Johnson, a free from Southend, makes his first start, and there's a full debut too for Rod Wallace, who's recovered from a groin strain. His former Old Firm rival Tommy Johnson, hampered by hamstring trouble, is on the bench.
As I was saying, 4-4-2 for both sides, but Gillingham lining up with a 4-4-2, the kind of diamond formation. The back four just lining up normally as it does. And you have a look at Pennock, he'll be just sitting in front of that back four with Smith and Perpetuini either side, making it a little bit narrow, but with clever Paul Shaw just in behind the strikers. The idea for that will be trying to get the ball into Paul Shaw and obviously trying to feed the forwards, Wallace and Ipua, down the sides of the central defenders of Crystal Palace, where they think they maybe lack a little bit of mobility. Difficult game for the pair of them. It's going to be Palace on the flanks, Gillingham down the middle.
Well, Rod Wallace has finally made the starting lineup for Gillingham. A groin strain has kept him at bay so far. And Wallace will be trying to put one past Nick Makopoulos. He's scored against him before for Rangers against PAOK Salonika in a European game a few years ago. Makopoulos only turned up at Palace yesterday amid a goalkeeping crisis at the club. Paul Taylor is in charge today, and that could be ominous for Palace because on the last 4 occasions he's officiated their games here at Selhurst Park, they've lost. Really coincidental, I'm sure. Crystal Palace currently lying in 19th place in the First Division table, but what an incentive today. 3 points would take them all the way up to 11th. Gillingham, in their change kit of all whites, are ensconced in mid-table. They too could move up a few places, not quite as many as Crystal Palace though, that's for sure. If Gillingham will get us off and running, and since they returned to the First Division, they made it into the First Division a couple of years ago, they have a pretty good record against Crystal Palace, which they'll be hoping to maintain today. This is Adrian Pennock, now Paul Smith, who was Gillingham's Player of the Year last season for the 3rd time. Dougie Freedman is grounded and doesn't get a free kick, and this is Myron Noseworthy, who's playing at right back for Gillingham, and watch out for him, they reckon he's one for the future, just back from injury. And Paul Shaw has been Gillingham's best player so far this season, many would say. Free kick is given in favour of Ipua and against the Australian Popovic.
Silly foul, Popovic there. Dangerous position for Gillingham here, and you just think they're going to pile him in on the far post there, centre-backs up, and just try and whip this one in with the left foot of Perpetuini.
Perpetuini in fact goes for goal, but Makopoulos certainly not troubled by that.
No trouble at all. I mean, that's a crime. I mean, you've got to hit the target from there, and forwards have got to get across the eye line of the goalkeeper to make it even more difficult for him. Makopoulos, good little sighter for him at the start, and I think Gillingham will be disappointed with that.
Well, Trevor Francis has a 100% record against Gillingham, 6 wins out of 6. And we'll be hoping to maintain that record amid rumours about his future circulating this week. Powell's clearance. It's going to come to Routledge, just 17 years of age, but he's lively. And Gillingham have a full debutant at left back in Leon Johnson, who's come in for Roland Edge, who was forced out of training on Friday when he took a knock on his knee.
I'm sure just lining up on the right side at the moment for Gillingham. I think as the game progresses, you'll try to see him try and tuck in behind the strikers a little bit. But at the moment, trying to be a little bit more defensive, Gillingham, trying to not let Palace out on the sides and just feeling their way. Perpetuini just tucking in a bit for Gillingham, and Palace can get it out the congested midfield area and out wide early to young Wayne Routledge. He could be the match winner. Powell, summer signing from Brentford. Julian Gray's patrolling that left-hand side, along with Danny Granville. Now Mullins. Here is Routledge, showing what he's all about already. Now Adebola. Chris Hope sorts him up. You only have to get one glance at a young man just to know if he's got it in his locker. I mean, he's come inside there, just a little flick with the outside of the foot down the channel. Very aware of Adebola's run, and if he didn't want to get it back on his left foot, onto his favoured left foot, he could have just slung that in quickly with his right, but already you can see Routledge has got it. It's plain to see even at an early stage.
He's only just broken into the team, made his first start against Wolves here. Powell. Whistle by Guy Epua. Here's Danny Butterfield. And Ebola. Chris Hope sticking close to him, and Pinnock comes to have a look as well. Crystal Palace have certainly drawn their fair share of games lately, including at Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday, a game they should have won really. Not the greatest game you'll ever see, that's for sure. It finished goalless. Hillsborough, and Danny Butterfield is going to get a free kick caught by Perpetuini.
Well, it was obvious he was going to come back onto his right hand side. There's no need to dive in by Perpetuini. Out came the leg. As soon as he's flicked it past him, certainty it was going to be a foul. That's poor defending really. Shame on the inside on his weaker foot. Get a little bit closer and it could have prevented anything happening.
Looks like one for the left foot of Gray. Adebola, Powell and Popovic all making moves. Gray's free kick though was met by Paul Smith. A mistake by Mullins, and Gillingham looking to get on their way here, and they might just be in. Epua wants the ball. It's going to go to Paul Shaw first, and of course the momentum of the attack is lost, and Epua fuming that he didn't get the pass.
It's a poor pass, wasn't it, from Paul Smith? It had to go early. He was in the space, he was beyond his midfield, the Palace midfield, sorry, and all he had to do was slip it in. He could have gone either of the two ways, but he's delayed the pass and allowed Palace to get back.
Still rankled by it.
Yeah, should have gone that way, shouldn't he? There he goes, Paul Smith breaking free, could have gone either way. There you see Shaw's gone that little bit early, so he's had to delay his run. The pass is delayed, allows Palace to go back. If he goes the other way first time to Epua, and that's why he's shaking his head, they've been in on goal.
Epua made contact with that. Routledge happy to let it go. He's played for England, under 17 international. Very worthy of his place in the team at the moment, that's for sure, despite his tender age. This is Tony Popovic. Between Friedman and Routledge. Butterfield, who came from Grimsby. Rihalati, who's just back from injury himself. Both these teams have very lengthy casualty lists. Butterfield looking for Friedman, and Jason Brown clattered into him, and the free kick is given against Friedman for the challenge.
It wasn't a bad little ball from Butterfield. He was waiting for Dougie, who came short and then checked out beyond, got beyond his marker, and I don't know, he's give a foul against Dougie Friedman. I think Dougie was trying to get out of the way more than anything else, wasn't he?
Suddenly realised that Jason Brown was upon him. Brown, by the way, was actually at Crystal Palace as a 12-year-old, would you believe, but they didn't take him on.
I told you not to mention that, Ian. We had a chat with my mate, the goalkeeping coach at Palace, called Vic Bettinelli, before the game, and he was saying we had him down here for 3 weeks as a 12-year-old. We had a look at him, released him. He said, I know what he's going to do today. He's going to go and have a blinder. He's going to make me look like a mug.
Usually happens that way. Jason Brown, he did go to Charlton, and then Gillingham picked him up. He may have only been a kid at the time, but he'll remember those 3 or 4 weeks at Crystal Palace. Adrian Pinnock poking that out. Routledge. That was Leon Johnson who conceded the corner.
Good little turn again, thrown in by Butterfield down here on this right hand side. Just tries a little half turn to meet his crossing. Realises he's very aware that someone was tight up his backside and lets it go away for a corner.
Adebola amongst those waiting. It's Julian Gray who sent it in, and Adebola's header has taken a ricochet behind for another corner.
Well, he's just come back on that one, hasn't he? I just don't think he could twist around far enough to get it on target. Out swinging corner kick, he's got in there, and He's headed it the wrong way. I think he's got Toblerone on his head. It's come off at all angles, hasn't it?
Palace will try again. Julian Gray will try again. Not so good that time. He's a little loose by Hayden Mullins, but oh dear. Shanked by Butterfield.
Just look at Gillingham when they go defensively. Paul Shaw goes and fills that right-hand side, and when they attack, he tries to make it really narrow and come in from the right-hand side, and tries to tuck in behind those strikers, Wallace and Apua. If they can find him to his feet, he could be the danger man. But at the moment, it's a little bit congested in the midfield.
Perpetuini was sticking close to Routledge, which probably be a good idea as the afternoon progresses. Leon Johnson making his first start for Gillingham, place of the injured Roland Edge. The last thing Gillingham needed really was another injury, especially with 3 players also out suspended today. Routledge, something with the outside of his boot. Here's Paul Shaw. Adabova. Routledge lost his way that time. Adrian Pennick, a defender normally, but playing that midfield holding role today. Rod Wallace skipping away. Apua and Shaw waiting for the centre, but it's cut out by Danny Granville.
Well, not the best of crosses from Wallace. He's got free, no way was he offside. Darren Powell on this near side, he played him on. Not in sync with his fellow centre-half, Tony Popovic.
Noseworthy. Away by Powell. Smith. And now Gray. Here's Routledge. 17 years of age, but talent for sure. As he's already proved in the opening stages. Again, does that now, doesn't he, as soon as I praise him?
Don't say that again. No, he's just got that ability just to hold on to it that fraction of a second longer, and that makes all the difference. I mean, the difference between Premiership players and First Division players can be that much.
It's Andy Hessenthaler's second match of the day. He watched his son Jake play for Chelsea's under-9s this morning, and Jake scored in a 5-2 win for Chelsea, so he's set the standards for the Hessenthaler family today.
I never played against Jake, but I played against Andy a couple of times for Watford. He was annoying so-and-so to play against. Very good player, 100% all the way, and a lot more skill than people give him credit for.
Young Jake plays in the same position. Andy suspended today, although I don't think he would have made it anyway because he's got a calf injury. And talking of injuries, Jason Brown is struggling now. And he seems to be in some agony. Vince Bartram is on the bench, vast experience.
It's a bit of a strange one. It might have been the clash with Friedman from earlier, but this one, he's had a big hook on the kick as it's come back to him, and he's sort of quit on the kick as well. As it comes back to him, you could see. That's it, he's quit on it, followed through, and I don't know what, but it might be the back of the knee job. Painful.
Immediately signalled for the physio.
Andrew, I think sometimes when they get injured like that, when they make bad kicks, goalkeepers always think that they're injured. There's S down there. I mean, that's worrying for him right at the start of the game. Him being down injured like that, he's just going to have to get his goalkeeper warmed up. And the last thing you want to be as a sub-keeper is coming on this quickly, and Bartram down there. Get your gloves out.
Yep, they've just signalled that he's not going to be able to continue, so Jason Brown, who, as we mentioned a moment ago, was at Palace in his very young days, is going to have to be replaced by Vince Bartram. Mind you, not a bad replacement.
Oh, good replacement, plenty of experience, but the thing about this though, Ian, you wonder how much goalkeepers warm up when they're a sub for a game. Obviously they're sitting there, and then all of a sudden they're asked to be called into action. You kind of switch off a little bit in your mindset, and now obviously he's got to switch right back on again. Oh, well, it's back on.
Vince is raring to go, but I think Jason Brown is going to try and carry on. The physio definitely signalled across, though, saying he wouldn't be able to, but they're going to see how it goes. And the Hessenthaler puzzled by the situation as well. Friedman.
The last thing he needs now is a soft goal to go in, because I don't think Andy Hessenthaler will be too pleased. He has to be 100% fit to stay on the pitch, because if there's any kind of movement that he can't do, it's going to be exploited, and it's dodgy staying on. You're on or you're off, you're fit or you're not. And Andy Hessenthaler won't be happy. Look at him, he's shouting and hollering from the line there. Are you all right or what? Get on with it.
He's going to have to come off. By the look of it. Well, Crystal Palace played Sheffield Wednesday midweek with an injured goalkeeper for 2/3 of the game. Alex Kalinko carried on. Mind you, Sheffield Wednesday didn't really bother him that much. But Vince Bartram is going to be on very soon. The poor challenge Butterfield, away by Powell. Talked about Gillingham's injury problems. They have just got worse. Jason Brown having to hobble off, be replaced by Vince Bartram, who makes just his second appearance of the season. He did play against Portsmouth in a 3-1 defeat at the Priestfield Stadium. Brown's game is over. Bartram's on.
Straight into it, and I think Vince Bartram will just be hoping for a couple of little pass backs just to get his kick in right early on in the game and just get a feel of it. But very, very difficult situation to come into. Sub-goalkeeper, you switch off, and now you've got to be right into the action.
Vince Bartram, who spent a few years at Arsenal without ever seeing a great deal of first-team action. David Seaman was in his way. Adabola looking to give Bartram an early test. Want to power his way through, but Barry Ashby got a foot in. Mullins. Ashby and Adabola will go for that, and Hope fed on the scraps. Here's Ipua, looking like it hit his hand as he tried to thread it through to Shaw.
Like an handball, didn't it? But if he'd just gone the aerial route there, just a little dink over the top to Shaw, he was in on goal. Again, Palace trying a dangerous type of game. They're trying to hold the high line, and not too sure if the centre-backs are in sync with each other at the moment. Popovic and Powell already been caught out once.
It's a new partnership at the heart of the Palace defence this season. Powell signed from Brentford.
I saw a lot of Tony Popovic last season. He was injured, they missed him badly, but they was playing in the back three earlier in the season under Stevie Bruce when they were playing their best football that I'd seen for ages, Crystal Palace. And Darren Powell, I played against him in non-league football at the end of my days, and I remember recommending him to a few clubs, and no one came in for him, and he's shot up to the first division now, and good luck to him. He's a good player.
Routledge persistence has paid off. He went behind Adabola, but Friedman is there, and Bartram gets his first touch.
Bit weak on the shot, wasn't it, from Dougie? It was just a little bit behind him, maybe a little bit of quickness of feet, and he could have had one touch and got it out and then cleared it. Routledge done very, very well on the touchline there, improvised with a little toe poke cross, and Dougie made one touch I think he needed and then get his shot away. Never really looked like threatening Bartram.
First save for Bartram, but he had a second one to try and make here. Friedman. He's usually full of craft. Gray. Manville outside of him, but it goes in towards Adabola. Friedman. Oh, and Bartram had to turn that one behind.
Yeah, sometimes the hardest ones, the miss hits. It came out to Dougie Friedman again. He's not struck it really well. It's a kind of a bobbler. Cross come in from Julian Gray. Adabola couldn't quite get it, hold it up. It comes out to Dougie Friedman, and that's not a bad save. Harder than it looks. There we go, down to his right-hand side. Harder than it looks because he's expecting a good strike, and it wasn't the best.
I think Wayne Routledge forgot he was taking the corners then. It took him ages to get over there, but he's made it, and he delivers. And Adabola is there, and it's onto the roof of the net.
Oh, there you go again. He's starting in on the goalkeeper, Adebayo, and then he's coming out again. Look, right in, there he is, coming out. No one's marking him. The goalkeepers sometimes say, you mark on the other side, and as he comes out that vital couple of yards, going back on himself, and he just can't quite keep it down because Bartram put him under pressure.
Oh, Butterfield caught Rod Wallace, and that's going to be a yellow card for Danny Butterfield.
A bit of a misjudgment with the bounce, wasn't it, from Danny Butterfield? And looked like a little trip. I don't think he actually meant it. He just caught Rod Wallace's feet, but it did stop a promising situation for Gillingham. Rod Wallace, it was in behind.
First booking of the game, and a free kick. Useful territory for Gillingham. Centre halves Ashby and Hope will join the throng of players. Paul Smith sent it in, but Hessenthaler quickly sent it out. Perpetuini. Adebayo back doing defensive duty. Not hanging around there for long. Here's Friedman. Oh, it's through to Aki Hessenthaler, and it's really opening up here. Wayne Routledge. Shot down by Leon Johnson. For the time being, anyway. Hooked on by Wallace for Ipua, and Shaw has gone outside of him. Wallace going through the middle and offside.
There's not a lot in the offside there from Rob Wallace, but a good move from Palace just before. Dougie Friedman and Aki Hessenthaler just exchanging positions. He gets beyond Dougie, and as he gets beyond Dougie, feeds Wayne Routledge, but the attack eventually fizzles out. Goes straight up the other end. Ipua doesn't hold it long enough really to bring the other players into play, and that was vital. He should have held it better.
20 minutes played at Selhurst Park in the Sunday sunshine. No goals between Palace and Gillingham, and Gillingham forced into a change. As if they haven't got enough injuries at the moment. Jason Brown, their keeper, having to go off. And Bartram on. This is Routledge. He's managed to get his cross in. Knocked away by Chris Hope. A long one this from Hessenthaler. He's one of the game's characters. Pua and Hessenthaler together, and it goes the way of Gillingham.
Aki Hessenthaler, I think that's when he passes it best, when he's got the ball in his hands. He's not the best passer of balls, but he's very, very dogged in the middle of midfield. He's got Aidan Mullins alongside him. I think he's a player of Premiership quality, Aidan. I'm very, very surprised that no Premiership clubs come in for him. But Hessenthaler, he's more of the ball getter, more than the player who passes it and brings other people into play.
Well, Palace did lose Clinton Morrison, of course, to Birmingham. It was always going to be a big loss for them. Andy Johnson, who came the other way as part of that deal, went off injured against Sheffield Wednesday the midweek and didn't make it today. Here's Myron Noseworthy, who could be the next big thing out of Gillingham. They talk very highly of him. Rod Wallace playing in English football again, coming back from Rangers to turn out for Bolton Wanderers last year, and finally getting his Gillingham career going after being troubled by a groin strain. Smith, a firm favourite with the fans. Ipua, Granville and Gray closing in.
Tidy stuff, you know, keeping the balls in the corner, but you know, you need someone in there twisting and turning, trying to get those crosses in. At the moment, they're stuck in the corner, and you just wish for a little bit more ingenuity here.
Here's Ipua, and now Rod Wallace with a wonderful chance, and picking up the scraps is Perpetuini, and Gillingham are one up at Selhurst Park. David Perpetuini was in where it mattered.
Oh, that's trouble for Palace. Well, Perpetuini gets a thank you very much, but look at that defending on the far side. No way you should get in from a throw-in like that. Ipua pulls it back. Wallace's shot is saved, just going down low to his right by Mikopoulos, and there's Perpetuini just to have an easy tap in. But from a throw-in, that really is a crime. It's a nothing situation for Gillingham. Well played, Gillingham, but you must admit it's poor defending from Crystal Palace. Never should you be scoring from a situation like that.
Well, Danny Granville was hurt in the melee, but poor goal for Palace to concede. Gratefully received though by Gillingham, but Granville in need of treatment.
Just caught a knock, I think, as he was trying to get him for the block there, Ian, but no, there he is. That's not Danny Granville. Here he comes. He was very, very unlucky not to get a block on for Perpetuini, but he's paid the price, obviously. But you're talking about conceding a goal from a throw-in in the corner and this criminal defending. No way should Ipua be able to turn right on by the goal line there.
So, Gillingham in front as they look to climb into the top 9, possibly. Started the season really well. They won their first 3 games, all 1-0. With a very settled side, it must be said, and then injuries started taking their toll. Suspensions hitting them badly today as well, but it's going all right so far for Andy Hessenthaler. He's done a fantastic job at the club, really. They have been in the first division for 2 seasons, finished 13th and 12th. Mind you, it took them 107 years to get into this division, so they weren't going to let it go that easily.
A little bit of test for the Palace fans as well. I mean, Trevor Francis has been getting a little bit of a barracking from part of the Palace fans, and this is when they don't want to turn against their side. They need their help now in a situation like this. Gillingham 1 up. Palace have got it all to do, but Trevor Francis is working under the most demanding of chairmen, shall we say, and he'll be feeling the pinch more than Hessenthaler before the game today. And it's put a bit more pressure on now, hasn't it?
Dili Adabola run into Adrian Pennock. Noseworthy towards Wallace. Rihilati steps in. Julian Gray, who was at Arsenal, easily taken off his toes by Smith. Howell. So Mikopoulos beaten on his debut for Crystal Palace. Only arrived at the club yesterday. It's Kalinko injured, and Matt Clark out for the season. Kalinko out for 3 or 4 weeks. Offside against Ipua.
I think just offside there. I mean, when you see the goal again, Rod Wallace done very well not to snatch it at first time, as Ipua got it back from right on the byline. He's cut it back. I was saying about Dougie Freedman earlier, just snatching at the shot. If it's just slightly behind me, you've got to have a touch, but of course you have to have quick feet to get the shot away.
Butterfield, that's a cracking cross which Julian Gray can't do much with.
Deep cross this time from Routledge, and Julian Gray maybe he'd have been better served trying to hook that back in first time. Not a bad cross. Gets there, and he should really be hooking that back in.
Well, Trevor Francis feeling the heat a little bit maybe. There have been rumours around that if he wants to lose this game, that might be that. Trevor's been playing down those rumours a bit this week. It shows you the kind of table that it is, that if Palace were to get a win here today, they would shoot up from 19th all the way to 11th. They have to do it the hard way though, because they trail to David Perpetuini's tapping. Here he is. Noseworthy, straight at Mullins. Ashby.
very even division this year, and if you have a look at the league, it's such an even league, and a couple of defeats, you're bang in trouble. A couple of victories on the trot, and you're right back up there in the mix-up again. It's an even league, but I do believe the way to get out of this division is to pass the ball. You've had a look at Fulham and Manchester City in recent seasons getting out. I know they had the players, that's the argument for managers who haven't got the money, but the way out of this division is passing the ball, I feel.
Free kick never really looked like it was going to go anywhere useful for Palace. This could be useful for Gillingham though. Paul Shaw chasing. Botterville having to come across there because Palace had committed bodies forward for a free kick which they totally wasted.
Totally wasted, and they're getting caught time and time again with one ball. I think that's the danger. There should be one ball that's beating you. You're built up with a little build-up play, 4 and 5 intricate passes, then you might have to hold your hands up. But one ball's beaten them time and time again, and the offside trap's looking a little bit fragile.
To Wallace, a new look strike force then for the Hessenthaler. He's had a few injury problems on the striker front this season. Pennick, Smith, Noseworthy, Danny Granville, sent straight back by Pennick, but Ipua had strayed.
A couple of nice passes there from Gillingham on the far side, and then Pennick, if he just opens his body up as he receives it, he could have switched it. They're free on this left-hand side, and they're through to attack down the other flank, but receiving the ball, he was only likely to go one way. If he just opened his body up, he could switch the point of attack nice and quickly, and that's what you've got to have when you're playing that deep lying role.
Adabola, Mullins, Paul Shaw, Ashby, Noseworthy, Smith, and Granville, Popovic, and Powell, Ratledge, and Butterfield. Fans are busy celebrating. The Palace fans are getting a little restless, but here's Gray. He's got Granville outside of him. Oh, he's aside.
Plenty of room down this right-hand side for Palace. I mean, if they just hold on to the ball, they can just get down this right-hand side more often. Danny Granville making a late run, definitely onside. Played on in the middle, I think, by Chris Hope.
Let's tell you about some of the action coming up on Sky Sports this week. It's Worthington Cup week, of course. A couple of games for you, including Chesterfield against West Ham, who've had their problems in that competition before. That's on Sky Sports 2 from 7:30. And then on Saturday at 5:30, next to the Nationwide League, big game, Norwich-Leicester, Sky Sports Extra. Rod Wallace now. Away by Routledge. I got a big frown from Tony when I said West Ham without
Any problems?
I meant every cup competition, actually.
Never lost to a lower league side, have they?
Only the odd few. Leon Johnson, offside against Wallace this time.
Got a few a season. Rod Wallace again running that channel, and that was Ipua just drifting offside that time, but just before that, Wallace on this left-hand side down the channel, getting in behind Butterfield again, running off the central defenders, off of Darren Powell, not enough communication to pass him over. And very, very dangerous. A very experienced player can just run that line and dive in at the last moment.
Well, Rod Wallace could be away here though. Ipua waiting for the centre. His header. Metropolis able to hang on just.
A decent save in the end. Wallace did well, but I think he was just looking for that bounce to go forward. It was an offside again. There was Darren Powell playing him off onside. Tony Popovic playing the offside. Darren Powell on this near side. slightly guilty of dreaming, and it's very, very dangerous what Palace are doing.
Butterfield. Rihilati. And a bowler flinging himself at that, and Gary Ashby to go to hook it away, but here's Mullins. A miscue by Pennick, and Dougie Friedman's effort was blocked by Johnson.
A little bit of pressure by Palace now. They need a goal now, Ian. 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes going into the break. They need one before the break, and just to get back in this game.
Between the goal scorer clears. Ipua on by Shaw. Grenville there for Palace, and now captain Hayden Mullins trying to provide some inspiration. Palace is certainly in need of that at the moment. Here's Adebola. Mistake by Smith, and Butterfield! It looked like it was flying into the top corner from Danny Butterfield.
Well, we're right in line with that. Rather like a good goal shot. It was rising all the way. Interception by Butterfield, edge of the area, going for the top corner, and inches away. It's just rising all the time. If you watch, we had this angle for us ourselves, and it was always just going to hit that bar or go over, wasn't it? But a great effort.
Not bad for his left foot either.
It was the old swinger, wasn't it?
Noseworthy. Away by Popovic. Now Wayne Ratledge. Rihilati. Butterfield, who came so close with that wonderful strike. Johnson trying to find a way in to the ball. Ratledge there has managed to deliver, but it should be Bartram's ball.
Yeah, no shortage of confidence from the young man, is there? Going to get Johnson in nice and tight, just getting a little bit of a wriggle on him, and probably maybe too much height on the cross, and Bartram came out, but plenty of confidence from the young man. Rihilati over the top, but straight through to Bartram, an early replacement for the injured Brown. 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Gillingham's defence hasn't been that great in recent games actually, but it has served them well generally since they returned made it into the first division. Perpetuini, offside again, Wallace. No question about that one. That was offside, but he was just trying to come back on onside just to try and curb his run, but obviously just gone off, and Perpetuini really maybe should have seen that and just held on to the ball a little bit more and gone for the run of Shaw, who's coming in late. Adebola's flick on, Friedman just unable to latch onto it. Adepola played under Trevor Francis at Birmingham too. He's had his injury problems in the last couple of years. For his first Palace goal. Coming soon. Leon Johnson, who was at Southend. Gillingham picked him up and Southend didn't offer him a contract. Both these teams have Worthington Cup games coming up this week. Palace play Cheltenham here on Wednesday, and Gillingham are straight on up to Stockport after this one. We'll meet them on Tuesday night. Ratledge, Butterfield. I mean, that's better. I mean, just try and keep hold of the ball and just try and work the corners a little bit more instead of slinging aimless ones in. There's joy to be had down this right-hand side for Palace.
With delivery from Butterfield.
See, that's pointless. He's done the hard work, he's made room for the cross, he can take it in a little bit more and then start working the area, pushing it into feet to Dougie Freedman or Adebola, and then of course Routledge can join from the pass of Butterfield. But when you're hitting aimless balls in hit and hope, it's easy to pick off the big defenders.
Julian Gray spinning away from Shaw. Now Mullins. He's got Routledge waiting to receive it. Butterfield will go on the outside. Routledge to try again. Towards Adebola. Big, strong, powerful. And Mullins takes over. And Julian Gray on the turn might have done a little better.
Oh, it's much better from Palace, isn't it? Just what I was saying earlier about trying to work the corners of these areas, the penalty area here. And in the end, it comes into Julian Gray and he gets a little half turn. And really, he's aiming for the top corner there. It's a bit similar to Butterfield, but he leans back and it was never looking like hitting the target. But a few shorter passes, and then you suck defenders into you, and then you can hit your crosses in, rather than hitting those aimless balls in.
Trevor's making a few notes.
He's not listening to us, is he?
Noseworthy.
Earworthy.
Julian Gray running into Paul Smith. Now Myron Noseworthy, but Gray not giving up just yet. He's missed a few games, Noseworthy. The last 5, in fact, for the groin strain, but Andy Hessenthaler are rather glad to have him back. He played up front when Peter Taylor was at the club, but Andy was saying that they think they finally found his best position, right back, although he'd be quite happy to play him anywhere.
He just couldn't clear his feet to get the clearance away, and there's Andy Hessenthaler down there. Lovely expressions from him, isn't it? Fully animated, right in the thick of it, whether he's playing or he's not playing. He's saying, clear your feet and get it in the channel from those deep areas. You're not good enough to play out of there. It's honest, I suppose. That's what he would have been saying, believe me.
He is. It's about as honest as they come out there, that's for sure. Free kick given against Granville for the challenge on Shaw, and Gillingham in a hurry. Too much of a hurry as it turned out. Routledge. Smith and Perpetuini both closed in, offside against Ed Wallace.
Close one again. They break up the Palace attack. Nice little play from Routledge, but turned into trouble. And an early ball. There you can see he's offside. Tries to jump back onside, but it's too late for Red.
Adebola. Palace looking for a response to Perpetuini's goal before the break, but they're not going to get it like that. It's pretty shocking.
There we go. It's what we're saying about holding on to the ball. Dele Adebola does well, gets hold of the ball. Now all he's got to do is roll it into the feet of someone else in the box. No tackles from behind in modern day football, and then you can be a little bit patient. But you can sense a couple of little agitated cries from the crowd here, and it tends to make you play a little bit more direct, and that's what they don't want to do.
He has a rather decent managerial record through the years, Trevor Francis, although it's a nitty but not quite story, I guess, in some respects. 3 playoff semi-finals with Birmingham. Finished 3rd in the top flight Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, Granville has not given up here, and he sent it back. It's come all the way to Routledge. Gillingham got enough bodies in the way, and that certainly would have hurt.
Got something else in the way.
It was Chris Hope, I think.
Oh, I hope he's all right.
We all felt that one, didn't we?
Oh, don't rub them, count them, son. But yeah, a little stumble on the other side by Noseworthy, and it has to come back low and hard from Danny Granville. It has to come back low and hard, and we felt that up here, didn't we? Yeah? Good little bit of play by Granville, persistent. But the final ball, that's letting Palace down quite often, has to come across low and hard.
There's Butterfield. Johnson almost getting out of Adebola with Smith then. Nice rescued by Wallace. Butterfield. Ratledge. Adebola. Friedman. And unusually his touch let him down.
He's just guilty of taking his eye off the ball there, Dougie. I mean, they haven't got him into the game enough. He likes to come deep, receive the ball on the half turn and get running at defenders. I can't remember him once in this first half getting the ball to his feet and turning and running at defenders. I mean, as he's going deep, Pennock, who's just sitting in midfield for Gillingham, is picking him up, so he's not really causing them a problem. So if he's coming to pick him up, there has to be more room on the width, but Palace haven't explored it.
He's a bit short on strikers at the moment, and Friedman had to sit on the bench at Hillsborough on Wednesday because of a foot injury. He did come on in the game, but Andy Johnson had to go off injured. Yes, he's missing today, and of course Adi Akinbaye is also sidelined. He should be back round about November. Akinbaye should get a few goals in this division. He has done before. Routledge. Didn't really fall favourably for the Eagles. Oh dear, that's terrible from Powell. He's giving it straight to Ipua. He's going to charge away, but Danny Granville's going to get back. Bail out Palace.
Poor ball from Darren Powell. He's a very athletic, strong defender, loves defending one-on-one situations, good in the air, quick across the floor. He's got a lot to learn about football with the ball. He doesn't clear his feet well enough to get ball striking going well for him. I must admit, he does strike a ball poorly. He's dragged that one straight into a Gillingham player. It puts him straight onto the attack. He has to clear his feet before he strikes the ball.
Offside flag's come up again, but it won't matter. Populous won't be allowed to get on with it. Three minutes of added on time in this first half. Butterfield. Adebola. Routledge. Mullins chases on for Granville. And now Julian Gray. This is better from Palace. Got out by Ashby. Gillingham look to get on their merry way again with Guy Ipua. Wallace once again trying to stay onside. Ipua. It's gone a long way. Butterfield hounding him. Shaw. Noseworthy. Pennock. Ashby. It's met by Granville. Pennock. Gillingham looking to see out the first half. It's they who hold the advantage.
That's a good advantage as well, isn't it? Palace will be kicking themselves. It was a poor goal to concede. Good upper body strength by Ipua to pull it back. The volley shot and Betweeney following it in, but poor goal to concede. And I think they've got to get passing the ball, Palace. The more passes they have in the middle, they can then switch it out wide and use that width, but they're not passing it well enough to exploit it. And, well, they've been in Gillingham's half for most of the game. They haven't really looked like scoring, have they?
At all, apart from having to come a long way for that. Always look like they'll get there first, though. Masters place to Jason Brown last season. But coming on today is an early replacement for Brown, who hurt himself as he booted the ball out. And closing seconds of the first half. I don't think Palace are going to hear much from their fans if they don't get an equaliser. Apart from a few boos, I'm sure, as they trudge off. Gillingham sitting in mid-table. Palace down near the bottom of the table. Both teams lost their way a little bit lately, although Palace did have a good win against Wolves here. too many draws have accounted for their lack of points. Granville. Well, it's half-time at Selhurst Park and boos from the Palace fans. It's not really gone too well for Trevor Francis' team. But all credit to Gillingham, who, like Palace, are depleted by injuries. David Berbatini with the goal that separates the sides. We'll hear what Lenny Lawrence thinks of it next with George. Half-time, Crystal Palace 0, Gillingham 1.
Worthington Cup action coming up for you this week on Sky Sports. On Tuesday at 7:30, it's Chesterfield, who yesterday lost their goal-scoring record to Arsenal. 5th in Division 2 against bottom of the Premiership, West Ham United. And on Wednesday at 7:30, Leyton Orient, in the wrong half of Division 3, against Premiership Birmingham City, who 2 years ago were in the final, managed by a certain Trevor Francis. Welcome back to Selhurst Park. My guest is Lenny Lawrence, and Lenny, not a happy home crowd at half-time at Selhurst Park.
No, I mean, Palace have struggled to get forward, really. Gillingham have contained them pretty well. Danny Butterfield at the bar. They've one or two bits and pieces, one or two shots, but they haven't really put them under sufficient sustained pressure for a home team, and you know, they've taken one or two chances at the back and letting a poor goal, really.
All the talk before the game was about Crystal Palace's goalkeeping crisis, but early on Gillingham lost Jason Brown very quickly, didn't they, to an injury, but it didn't seem to upset them very much.
No, Vince Bartram's a vastly experienced goalkeeper. He's come on, and to be fair, he's had a couple of easy things to do early on, a couple of back passes and a couple of saves to make, and he's been able to ease his way into the game without too much trouble. As I say, if you're the home team, especially in Palace's situation, you've got to put the Gillingham under sustained pressure. Palace have got to have 20 or 25 minutes where they really get at Gillingham. But there doesn't seem to be too many signs of that at the moment.
What will Trevor been saying in the dressing room about the goal? It was a soft goal from Palace's point of view, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, the defenders showed him the byline. That's a poor piece of defending. And he's used his strength. There it is. Look, he's shown him the byline. He's got to the byline. It's a poor piece of defending there. He's done well to take a second touch there. This is where they're a bit unlucky, Palace. It's ricocheted off the keeper there, and Danny Granville's just been short of getting a challenge in. They've been a little bit unfortunate at the end, but they've been punished for what was a poor piece of defending, letting him down the byline there. You've got to show him inside away from the goal there. But you know, the Berbatini was sharp following up, and you know, he got that little bit of luck where it just dropped out and to his feet, and it's an easy finish for him. Poor goal.
Perfettuini, good young lad from Hitchin in Hertfordshire, but Palace have had their chances, but really nothing's been happening for them, has it?
No, not enough chances. They've had a couple of half chances. Danny Butterfield at the bar with their best shot as a left-footed shot from outside the box. They've had a couple of attempts from the edge of the box, but nothing really. The best one was when Adebola just headed that corner over the bar. That was their best effort. I think if Palace get the ball up there enough, if they get it round Gillingham's box enough and keep them under pressure enough, I think they might get a goal, because they've got some talented players, but it's not sticking. And as we said on the commentary, they're throwing crosses in too early, and them Gillingham defenders will eat them up. And the one thing they've got to do, Palace, is Pennock sitting in front of the Gillingham back four. They haven't moved him. They haven't affected him. He'll sit there all day, and it's difficult for people like Freeman to come off the feet because he's in that space. Palace have got to switch the ball quicker, and they've got to get their full-backs into play. Danny Granville got in once or twice at the end there. He's not bad going forward. Danny Butterfield's got in. That's where the space is, because Gillingham are defending very narrow. Very narrow. So for Palace to get a goal, they need to switch quickly and get the full-backs forward.
And the best chance they had was Danny Butterfield, who clipped the top of the crossbar, but that was a mistake by the Gillingham defence, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he was sharp. It was a clearance, and it was a loose pass out, rare for them, and he's intercepted it, Danny Butterfield, and had a swing at it with his weaker left foot, and it's a good effort, to be fair. Just a little bit, always going just over it. Just going to clip the bar. You know, he's stretching to get it as well. He doesn't have to work to keep it down. He has. Yes, because look, he's stretching there. You know, he's stretching there to get up to the ball with his last stride, and it's just a little bit, just inches. But it's their best effort.
Well, Trevor Francis will be hoping they can get about 6 inches lower in the second half, because he's been feeling one or two little pressures of late from the home fans. They're looking for a goal in the second half. At the moment, it's Gillingham ahead by 1-0 at Selhurst Park.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Oh yes, it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's ladies' night. Oh what a night. Oh what a night. What a wonderful world. Oh yeah.
Make the most of Gulf Air's Arabian experience. Phone now for a brochure.
Hi, I'm John Becker. Some people say I'm rude. They say I'm too loud, even obnoxious. To these people, I say, I know.
Get out here!
The doctor will see you now.
So your job was to make my life miserable.
No, it's just my hobby.
Ted Danson.
I don't care what you say.
Brand new Becker.
Man, I thought you took an oath to help people.
I had my fingers crossed.
Weeknights on Paramount. Comedy is paramount.
You still here?
Guess who's cooking tonight? He's butchering a chicken breast as we speak. Oh, now he's sprinkling something on it. What is that stuff?
It's a blend of aromatic spices with a smoky barbecue taste.
Did you get that? Aromatic spices. Yeah. Well, I'll call you tomorrow if I'm still alive.
Well?
Well, make me another one and I'll tell you. Have you tried old El Paso fajitas?
I'd set up a office in the middle of nowhere, like in the North Pole. You get some like polar bears and penguins. You might get some Eskimos, which they're really called Inuits.
For grown-up advice about finding more customers, call Business Link on 0845 600 9006.
Buy a complete pair of Boots brand spectacles with scratch-resistant lenses and get a second pair absolutely free. Now available at Boots Opticians.
Boss in Motion, the new fragrance.
The new 24-page football section, free every Monday in the Times.
Footballers will promote anything. Over the years, they've promoted everything from crisps to clothes, boots to burgers. The performances on the screens haven't always been as good as their performance on the pitch.
They are to act in what Ray Charles is to needlework.
But a good script.
I like the tagline, always the best for George.
Clever editing helps the footballers to promote anything. I'm Vinnie Jones. These are my football shorts.
All new Vinnie's football shorts, tonight, 9 o'clock, Sky One Sunday.
Who writes this?
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Monday Night Football is at the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion against Blackburn Rovers. They both have 9 points from 7 games. Join the team tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Tony Lawrence, what do you think of Wayne Routledge, 17 years old and very sharp young player for Crystal Palace?
First time I've seen him. Obviously he's a little bit lightweight, but he's shown some lovely touches and some link-up play, and I think if him and Danny Butterfield can make some progress down that right-hand side, that represents Palace's best chance of maybe getting something out of this game. But yeah, for 17, he certainly seems confident, and he's got good feet and obviously some awareness, and that's good.
He's obviously still a bit raw, and Trevor wouldn't want to keep on playing him, would he, all the time?
No, I mean, he's obviously doing okay at the moment. I think when they're young like that, if it's a situation where there's a nervousness in the team or the crowd are unhappy or are under pressure, I sometimes think young players are least affected by it. I do. I don't think he's affected by it in the slightest, because he's never experienced it before. So Trevor will know how much to play him and when to take him out of the team. But certainly he looks lively at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in and play behind the front two or something like that.
Well, he's coming back out for the second half, and he'll be hoping to help Palace get level in this match. It's 1-0 at the moment to Gillingham, and your commentators are Tony Gale and, first of all, Ian Crocker.
Thank you, George. It's Palace hoping to turn things round, to kick-start their season here at Selhurst Park in southeast London, while Trevor Francis is going to make a change for the start of the second half. Trevor in need of a positive result today, really. The Selhurst Park natives are a little restless. He decided to take off Julian Gray, one former Arsenal youngster, and bring on another in Tommy Black, who only made the first team a couple of times at Highbury. So further changes for Gillingham. They were forced into a very early one, of course, when Fitzpatrick came on for the injured keeper Jason Brown. Crystal Palace ready to start the second half, hoping to jump from 19th to 11th in the First Division, but trailing to Gillingham, who had an excellent start to the season, but have lost their way a little bit of late, not helped by a mounting injury crisis and a few suspensions today. And Palace too, well, they have lots of injury stories to tell as well. But Trevor Francis has changed things around a little bit.
Well, they played much better like this last season when they played three at the back, and I think now with Danny Granville wide on the left and Routledge wide on the right, you've got Tommy Black just trying to sit in the hole. That's where he played best sometimes, Tommy Black, or it might be Dougie. They alternate between the two of them, but Tommy Black, when he was playing wide, was bought as a wide man originally. He did play better when he played in that hole for Palace on occasions last season. So gone to the wing-back system, and hopefully they can build up down the outsides and try to get the ball into the feet of the striker who's dropping off deep in that hole. Move Pennock around.
Pennock. Butterfield. Paul Shaw trying to get away. Aidan Mullins retrieves it for Crystal Palace and wants to give Tommy Black his first touch, but it's out by Ashby. Here is Mullins, who's dropped into the back three, as it is now. Friedman, Adabola, turning away from Hope, still going. Routledge, and Granville came in, and Palace equalised right at the start of the second half, and it's Danny Granville, just what Trevor Francis needed.
Well, it's all coming about by passing the ball. Doesn't it make it an easy game? Dougie Friedman dropping off deep, feeding Dele Adabola. Couldn't quite get his cross in, just pulls it back, and Routledge hits it in first time. Granville gets right across his marker, and that's poor marking again by Johnson on this side in the right back spot. He shouldn't be letting people get across him like that. He probably wasn't even aware of it, but that's what you've got to do. There's a wing back crossing the ball, and his fellow wing back on the other side's there to head it in.
Francis, not very happy, but his team have drawn level. Adabola. Hung in there.
probably done Johnson a misservice. It was probably Noseworthy that was cut across right in the near side as Granville got in front of him, so apologise to the Johnson family.
Is Butterfield and Black. Noseworthy has a job on his hands trying to deal with the former Arsenal kid. 2 years of age now. The Palace fans have found their voice and their team have found a goal. And here is Black, who stood it well wide.
That's a poor miss it really, because that sat up nice. Quick throw in by Danny Granville. Tommy back lets it roll across his body. And he's really guilty of trying to hit that too hard. He's got to go for the far side, dipping volley, and he's dragged it just simply because of the fact that he's trying to hit it too hard.
Andy Hessenthaler unable to play a part today, suspended, although he has a calf injury which might have sidelined him anyway, his third season in charge. Copes admirably with being a player manager. He has a very happy and spirited cap. And a bowler, and a free kick. Paul Shaw. Popovich in the way. Powell. Ratledge. And a bowler. Just going to skip away from Ratledge.
A bigger breakfast, I think, the bowler, as he's trying to cut it back down the line. Far too hard for Ratledge, but you can see that this sort of formation that Palace have got now with the three centre-backs, Aidan Mullins going there because he really is a good passer of the ball, gives him far more options to pass the ball. As you were saying before, Ian, you pass the ball in this division, 3 or 4 passes and you'll get round any team. There was a much more controlled build-up before the cross came in, and it moved players around. Hence, Granville gets the space to head the ball home.
Paid off quickly for Palace. Aidan Mullins, in his defensive role, making sure there was no passage through for Ifua. Gillingham's goal scorer Perpetuini will take the throw. Eventually. Ifua. Corner.
Very strong in situations like that, isn't he? Just allows you a little bit of respite to get forward again. And Gillingham just got to get in control of the, well, not in control, I don't think they've ever been in control of the game, but they were certainly keeping Palace at bay quite easily, and it will spell up in Palace's last third, and they'll do them the world of good.
Perpetuini's left foot will deliver. Away by Powell. Ifua knew it was coming his way. Powell blocked that. Really would have hurt. He'll laugh at home.
That's Chris Oak and Darren Powell. I think they can go and compare later.
Granville. Too much on that.
Darren Powell, look. Oh, it's just waiting to bend over. He's trying to show it's not hurting. Look, there's tears in those eyes.
You'd have taken a few of them, of course, in your time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a mistake has almost let in Wallace, although there's a flag up.
They're not getting their starting positions quite right. I don't know what Popovich was up to there. Not really getting under the flight of that ball to get that header away.
Mullins. Friedman. Through to Bartram. Gillingham have only managed to score more than 1 goal in the game once this season. That was in a 4-2 victory at Brighton recently. Popovich. Ratledge. Butterfield. Rihilati. Wayne Routledge, the 17-year-old, is taking them all on. He's going to get a free kick held back by Leon Johnson, who's going to be summoned to the referee.
A nice little trick or two over there, wasn't there, by young Wayne Routledge. Was eventually going to get his cross in before he was fouled by Johnson. He's going to get the yellow card now, so I don't think you can have any grumbles about that. More fluency about Palace now, Ian, isn't there? The system's changed. Obviously, they're having a few more passes. And there's much more fluency about their play. They're not all tied down to positions now.
Well, Adebola on the end of that. And they certainly look a very, very different side in the second half.
Well, I think he should have scored there, Adebola. He's got up nice and early. Noseworthy again, guilty of not marking very well. All he's got to do is point his head down, and that's a goal. I think he should score there.
He hasn't scored yet for Crystal Palace. Last goal actually came against them for Birmingham. Finished 10th last season, which is actually their best position since they were relegated from the Premiership in 1998. Pua trying to bustle his way through. Leon Johnson. Howell. Routledge. Pennick stepped in front of Friedman.
Now he's playing in a right wing-back spot. He is a ringer for Sean Wright-Phillips at Manchester City, isn't he? The little legs and his little battleship-type figure, isn't he? And he's a ringer for him.
On by Granville. Butterfield. Friedman. Granville. Can he deliver? Yes, he can, but straight to Barton, took a little nick off of Johnson. Shaw, Smith, promising this for Gillingham, but Popovic intervened. It's only held up Gillingham temporarily though. Nakua, Rihilati put the foot in. Routledge and Black. Perfect pass. Quite matched by the cross, but it's going to come to Butterfield. Ooh, he wasn't far away.
Well, that's a good effort. He didn't really snatch at that. He's tried to hit that as a controlled volley. Good first touchdown by Butterfield. And you see it building up down the right-hand side. Tommy Black gets right to the byline, cuts it back. The header comes back. Nice first touch from Butterfield. And it's a nice shape on the volley. He's trying to hit across the ball, instep outside of the foot, and that's very, very unlucky. He didn't snatch it at the young lad, and that was a very good volley and unlucky.
Only Butterfield caught Trevor Francis's eye when he set up 3 of Grimsby's 5 goals against Palace in a game last season. His contract was up at Blundell Park, and Trevor moved in. Here he is, looking to put Tommy Black on his way, but Chris Hope shielded him, and now the flag is up to frustrate Gillingham.
It was all too easy in the first half for Hope and Ashby. They wasn't being moved around much, and they had Pennock sitting in front, but now you've got Black dropping deep off the striker Adebola. Dougie Friedman as well in the hole, and the movement will cause them problems. Obviously with Granville tucked right out here wide and Routledge out on the right-hand side, it's giving Gillingham a bit of problems, and maybe Andy has to change it a little.
Mullins. Popovic, Australian international. Nicopolis in goal for Crystal Palace. Trevor Francis had to move quickly to sign a couple of goalkeepers on Friday night, with Matt Clark and Alex Kalinko both sidelined. Clark sadly out for the season. And Powers taking it away from Metropolis, taking no chances.
And that's where a misunderstanding can occur. It just popped up, it's not a fast surface, just popped up, and Metropolis hasn't played with his back four before, and obviously just in between the two of them, that's when it can happen, but he did well in the end, Darren Powell.
Roseworthy to Smith. Tommy Black. Really troubling Ashby and Hope, at that time anyway. Ball is due to land soon. Routledge. Butterfield. Just looking to get on their way again. It's the teenager Routledge to Friedman. And now Granville. And across it goes, and Routledge nipping in.
It's a lot better from Palace. They're building up down the right-hand side and coming over to the left as Dougie Friedman switches it out to Danny Granville. Nice little cross, nice shape on it. Routledge, a little bit more experience, maybe a little nip over the foot of the defender there, inviting the foul in the box, or even to get on for the second touch and a goal.
There he is again. Butterfield. Black. Just took it away from him by Pennock, and Perpetuini takes over. Ipua. Looking for Wallace to make the run, and he has, and Paul Shaw's unmarked in the middle of the moment. If they can get it into him, Popovic cut it out.
In the nick of time as well, Popovic. He was drawn out of position in the first place, but Paul Shaw was definitely in, and a little bit more curve on the cross from Ipua on the far side, and he was in and goal.
Granville. Adabola grappling with Barry Ashby.
Different Palace, isn't it, now passing the ball, and it's amazing. A goal gives you confidence, but passing the ball gives you confidence as well. Put 2 or 3 passes together, and all of a sudden the confidence grows, and it looks like a different Palace.
Smith lunging in at Butterfield, who's managed to send it back to Granville. Tommy Black is buzzing around. Black centre, cleared by Johnson. Here's Friedman. He hasn't kept it in.
I'm just wondering about Andy Hessenthaler now. Is he going to leave it and just try and leave it another 5 or 10 minutes, or does he change it around just to try and stop the way Palace are passing at the moment? Because they're getting passed around a little bit, Gillingham, and if it continues like this for the next 10 or 15, you'd anticipate that Palace would get a second goal. Andy needs to make a few changes, and not necessarily in personnel, but the pattern of play for his team.
Friedman. All Hope's clearance is changed down by Black, and Barton comes to smother and might have taken a kick as he did so, but he'll happily get on with it. And Black hobbling. Is actually up against Black.
Well, he's up about 5 minutes late. I think the sun's got in his eyes over this pass under life. Give him a cap.
Here's Leon Johnson. Ipua. Perpetuini. Ipua. Hayden Mullins saw that one coming, but Shaw and Smith were well advanced. Mullins for Friedman. He's got to it. Adrian Pennicklow assisting the central defenders. Smith looking for Shaw, but it's straight to Powell. Now Routledge. Paul Smith wins it back, and now here's Paul Shaw. And onside, Rod Wallace. Ipua in the middle. And it's been strapped behind by Popovic.
Done it again, Crystal Palace. All their good work could have been undone. There you go, it's Aidan Mullins on this near side, playing them onside. Two coming up, one staying back. There have been problems with the back four in the first half for the two centre-backs. Then always problems with the three with the offside trap.
The corner for Gillingham. Selhurst Park falls strangely quiet as Perpetuini prepares to deliver. Popovic made contact. It's going to come to Shaw. Plenty of bodies in the way. Routledge. And he's shaken off Pennock. The pass is going to be intercepted by Perpetuini.
It's a great little turn from Routledge again, and it looks so easy, doesn't it? On the halfway line, he's turned away from Pennock, took the ball on the outside of his foot. Lovely little technique, and he's away as well. Got that little burst of pace, and at 17 years of age, he's going to get stronger and wiser, and a very good player in the making.
Butterfield's been allowed to go here. Snuffed out eventually by Perpetuini. Johnson up towards Ipua. Here's Rihalati. And offside that time against Rod Wallace.
Offside again, but Popovic standing up. Aidan Mullins having a little kip on this near side, and just 2 yards behind him again, and they've got to be very, very careful.
Adebola. Black. Straight at Vince Bartram.
Never really going to get the pace in his shot. Cutting in on his weaker side, Tommy Black on his left foot. Well held up by Adebola though, just knocking it off to him, and worth a little go, wasn't it? But Dougie Friedman's square of him might have been worth a pass and a little give and go. A square pass to break the rather square Gillingham defence there.
Shaw trying to put it through to Ipua. Francis saw his side make the perfect start to the second half. Gillingham are biting back a bit now. Wallace's header, and Ipua came in, and it ends up in the back of Crystal Palace's net. Another sloppy goal for them to concede, but Gillingham are in front for the second time in the match.
Well, that's a bit hard on Palace, but it's a good goal from Gillingham, and really poor defending from Crystal Palace. Comes back as the cross comes in onto the far side, headed back into the area by Danny Wallace, and there's Ipua just to get it in, and it's poor defending. It's 2 free headers, one to nod it back in, and there we go, one to nod it into the net, and we're talking about 2 yards from goal. May have even been an OG. If you look at Aidan Mullins trying to get back, it may have got stuck between the heads, so we'll have to have a closer look on that one. May have been an OG.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a delay in the Ipua's celebration. He wasn't quite sure whether to claim it or not, was he?
We'll be claiming it, all right. I don't think Aidan will be claiming it.
He might not have got the touch on that. Mullins. Well, Ipua, if he is going to claim it, also scored here on the opening day of the season when Gillingham won against Wimbledon. So he was coming to Selhurst Park. But, Gillingham in front. You could normally tell by strikers' immediate reactions as to whether they got the final touch. He had a slight delay there.
Yeah, it looked like Ipua just got in front of him, but kind of headed it and misheaded it, and then it got jarred onto Mullins and then went in the goal. It'd be interesting to see if it actually did come off of Aidan, but certainly he had a sheepish look on his face.
I think it is a goal off Hayden Mullins, but Strikers Union will give this one to Ipua, perhaps.
Here it comes, it's coming in, and as they go up together, oh, it's definitely a Mullins goal. Tucked it away lovely, didn't he? It's never mind, you've got to get on with the game. He's a super little player, Hayden Mullins, and one who can play at a much higher level, and shouldn't let that and put him off, but definitely OG.
Rob Wallace is offside again. So an OG really for Hayden Mullins, despite Guy Ipua's delayed celebration. His efforts to claim the goal. Granville sent it in, but Martin came to meet it, and Crystal Palace have to do it all over again. Here is Routledge. Black chasing, but Chris Hope comes across. Runner-up in the Player of the Year poll at Gillingham last season. Runner-up to Paul Smith. Black centre. It goes again to Hope.
There's always been that threat from Gillingham. I mean, they're hanging in there again and stuck in their own half, but they've always had the threat on the break from Ipua and Wallace, and the centre-backs, if it was a 2 or as a 3 in this centre-half, have never really been in command.
Black is in this time, though. Adebola and Ashby both went for it near post. Corner. Palace not hanging around, they are a team in a hurry. Black, that'll be another corner.
Nicely trying to work the edge of the penalty area there, and I think he was just waiting for the challenge from Smith and just to try and get his cross in, but it ended up, he had to time it decisively, and he did, Paul Smith, just to get it away for a corner.
Butterfield delivers. Larty was coming in, but Paul Smith cleared. Routledge! Oh yes! He's been in fine form just lately, this talented teenager, and the 17-year-old comes up with a glorious goal to bring Palace level again.
Well, it's a fantastic goal. Great first touch. It's cleared by Gillingham, and it comes to the edge of the box. All about the first touch. Pops up nicely on the volley. Dougie Freedman standing in the offside position. He holds his hands up to say, I'm not interfering with play, and he definitely wasn't. But what a lovely shape on the volley. It was perfect, wasn't it? We had one from Butterfield early, very similar, just going wide, but this one from Routledge was, oh, it's timed to perfection. Didn't try to strike it too hard. That was the key.
Wallace's centre. Inside the last 20 minutes now, and Crystal Palace have bounced back for the second time.
Palace right back into the game. I think they deserve it in this second half. They have passed the ball a lot better, but just have to commend him. I mean, we're talking about man of the matches. I mean, he's had a super game for a 17-year-old. The first touch was lovely. It was behind him, sets him up, clears his feet, and as he strikes it, I mean, we'll see different angles of it, but the shape on the ball as it goes in was perfect. Just hitting it slightly on the outside of the boot of the instep there, and it's a lovely shape of a shot.
It is certainly making an impression, this young lad. Recently broke into the side this season. He's a player who suits him plenty of confidence about him.
He's had a bit of the lot today, hasn't he? I mean, he's took players on, he's had shots at goal, and his fair share of defending as well, and at 17 years of age, I don't think he can be asking much more, and let's just hope that Crystal Palace can hang on to him.
Gillingham do have a pretty good record against Crystal Palace over the last couple of seasons. Gave them a couple of thrashings at the Priestfield Stadium. But they were beaten here last season. 4-1 to Palace that day. It's 2-2 this day. Smith. Oh, it's dropped here for Rod Wallace. And Mullins. Some dogged defending. There'll be another throw for Perpetuini.
Could do with his sunglasses, couldn't they?
It's a bit of a struggle for us. Perpetuini's centre. Granville to mock it behind for a corner.
Well, I don't know why Ipua didn't attack that. That was a perfectly hung cross for him to come and attack. And he kind of sat back off it. I mean, Danny Granville was always going backwards. That's a good defending header to get it away for a corner, because he's pedalling backwards knowing that he's going to get clumped. He didn't, as it turns out, because Ipua didn't attack it. He should have attacked that ball on the fast stick.
Perpetuini's corner. Couple is not too near it. Here is Tommy Black, tearing away. And it was Ipua kept up with him, of all people. Rihalati, Friedman, looks for Adebola, just skimmed away from him. Palace are going to make a change to it.
It's a perfect ball from Dougie Friedman. He's just spotted Adebola just peeling off the second centre half. I think it was Ashby, and he's just come in and he really had a bit of lead in the legs there, and there he is coming off. I think he looked very tired. I mean, he just had to get there, first couple of yards, and it would have been a perfect chance.
So Adebola, his last contribution to the Palace cause. In his place, Sean Derry, who's missed the last few games, broke his nose against Leicester last month, and because of Palace's injury problems, he's returned a little earlier than expected. I think Trevor Francis wanted to give him another week, but he's back after a badly broken nose.
Will change. And Wayne Routledge going up front now. Centre back Ashby and Hope won't be relishing this if there's a couple of balls over the top late in the game. Butterfield going out to the right wing back spot. Obviously, there he is, come on, has gone back into midfield. But young Wayne Routledge now needs the ball into his feet or down the side of those central defenders.
It's a miniature strike force for Palace at the moment. Here is Black. And Gillingham are going to respond by bringing on Tommy Johnson shortly. Quarter of an hour to go. Routledge, offside flag has gone up.
Offside, but unlucky. That's a nice little play, isn't it? The two little men there give you a different proposition altogether, doesn't it? Ask more questions of players. Into the feet of Routledge, just turns it around the corner. He's not offside. Played on by two people on this near side and not offside. That's a poor decision, and that stopped what was a good bit of football.
Just drive you nuts when you get those shouts against you.
Never used to drive me nuts when they went for me. I bet.
Tommy Johnson is going to replace his former Old Firm rival, Rod Wallace, shortly, although maybe not just yet. There's a bit of confusion as to whether it's happening now. It's not happening. Tommy was
changed his mind.
That's typical of Tommy, that is, I tell you.
He used to be indecisive, didn't he? Just not sure now.
Derry. Mullins. Rihalati. Friedman. Nice pass for Rihalati. A little bit of work to do though. Perpetuini closing in. Now Leon Johnson. Oh, and Black. He decided to go for goal himself, and there were three waiting for a pullback.
What has he done there? That was the perfect opportunity. Does well just to slip around the side of the defenders, and he's got two or three players to pull it back to. He tries to go for the near post and makes Bartram's job easy.
He's going to try and make amends. That'll be another corner.
He'll be disappointed with himself, even if he's trying to finish on that spot. Saw a Ljungberg effort in the week against PSV. It's got to be with the outside of the foot. And he was never going to get it, squeeze it into that near post.
Hessenthaler's corner, away by Pennock. There's Tommy Black. Hessenthaler with plenty of time to deliver. Drilled it across, and Popovic! Oh! Off the bar, Tony Popovic. That's nearly ahead for the first time in the game. Popovic again. Granville. Noseworthy, try not to let him in. He's giving it straight back to Palace though, and to Popovic. Sean Derry. Danny Butterfield heading for the byline, but it's collected by Bartram.
More decent play from Palace. They're passing it a lot better in the second half, and the more you pass and move, I'm sure that that's the way to get out of this division and get to good results. Cross came in from Butterfield. I thought Darren Powell was going to get there first. He missed it, just had an air shot with his head, and it just went through to Popovic. He got his header in, kind of looped up onto the bar, and Gillingham was saved. They're hanging on in there now, Gillingham.
Here's Routledge. The star of the show. Gillingham still waiting to bring Tommy Johnson on. Oh, Freeman's header! Knocked out of the air by Barton.
Some decent quality crosses coming in now. Just keeping the ball in the corner. Routledge again, running the corner, just knocking it back to Butterfield. It's very, very difficult to score from there for Dougie Freeman. Decent save by Vince Bartram. Needed one of those looping ones that goes over the keeper's head there.
Mullins won the header. Danny Granville. Heading towards the last 10 minutes, and Palace look like they could win this game. Hayden Mullins. And the challenge by Perpetuini on Rihalati.
Just got a little bit carried away there, I thought. Or he thought that if he just nicked that ball there as it's going across Rihalati, he steers that through, and they're through on goal. Rihalati taking a little bit of a risk going across him. He's never going to get there.
Well, that change is happening now for Gillingham. Rod Wallace, once of Rangers, replaced by Tommy Johnson, former Celtic man. And Tommy actually nearly joined Crystal Palace a few years ago when he was at Celtic, but the move didn't quite happen. Joined up with Gillingham this season. Mullins floats it in. Ashby held firm. Rihalati didn't really connect. I'll tell you what, Tony Popovic came so close to putting Palace 3-2 up.
Very close. It was a decent cross by Butterfield. Now have a look at Darren Powell. I thought he's missed that completely. I thought he should have got it himself. Popovic comes in on the far side, gets his header in, and is a little bit unlucky that it hits the bar, and fortunate for Gillingham that it goes to safety.
Tommy Black chasing. Ashby dealing with his threat. Routledge lost out that time. Tommy Johnson losing out to Hayden Mullins. Here's Smith. Johnson trying to steer it on to Noseworthy. But Noseworthy's run forward has given Granville a bit of space to exploit. Noseworthy got back there, and he's also got the free kick.
Good bit of defending, gets back off and gets it off of Danny Granville, and Danny just has a little flick out of Noseworthy there, but Gillingham will be keen to hold on to this point now. They've worked ever so hard. Palace have worked them hard in the second half by passing the ball about and moving, and that should show the rest of the way for the season for Crystal Palace. Maybe keep this formation that they've got and keep the same passing and movement. As for Gillingham, they've been hanging on in it there with those suspensions that they've had. If they get a point out of this, they'd have done very well.
Next up for Gillingham in the league, Coventry at home, and Palace face a tough trip to Stoke. Francis saw Stoke play yesterday at Reading. Of course, before those league encounters, there's Worthington Cup action for both these teams as well. Ipua.
A good game today, hasn't he, Ipua? Give them constant problems at the back, Palace.
Well, let's tell you about some of the Worthington Cup action coming up this week. West Ham on Tuesday, Birmingham on Wednesday at Leyton Orient. That's from 7:30 on Sky Sports 2. And next from the Nationwide League, Norwich and Leicester, 5:30 next Saturday. That's on Sky Sports Extra. The accompanying contest at Carrow Road. Smith. Granville. Ashby's header, here's Paul Shaw. Pennick's error has allowed Sean Derry to try and start something for Crystal Palace. Now Butterfield. Oh, just eluded Routledge and sliced out by Nosebird. Man of the match, Tony.
My man of the match is this young man, a star in the making for me. Started off at right side midfield today, right wing back he changed to. Now he's gone up front, got the all-important equalising goal. Great strike. Certainly an old head on young shoulders. He looks a super player in to me. He's got a lot of skill, and he's only going to get better. He's going to get wiser, and he's going to get stronger. And for me, a very, very good player in the making.
There's Butterfield. Routledge. Is it going to be another draw for Crystal Palace? They've had a few of them this season, or are they going to find a winner late on here? Gillingham hanging on in there. 5 minutes left.
And there only looks to be one winner if there is going to be a winner. Palace doing all the pressing. But of course Gillingham, one kick up that pitch again, and that back three or back four have always struggled with the Ipua today. So they're still in it.
Hooked in by Black and out by Pennock. Well, kick that time, but he certainly had a lively second half. Tommy Black, who came on for Julian Gray. Francis getting a bit fed up with all these draws. Needs to start clambering up the table.
No laughing in that dugout, otherwise you'd get a clip round the ear, eh, Ian?
Butterfield. Free kick given. No, it's a throw-in actually. I think it had drifted out.
They're curled out of play, but you can see the difference, what it is to play against a young player and a short player up front as well. He's just getting right under Ashby and Hope. They don't know how to deal with it. They want to get tight, but they know if he does twist away, he's going to be away from them in a flash. It's a difficult proposition, certainly more difficult than playing maybe against the big man, Adebola.
Friedman got the free kick and didn't hang around. Now Granville. Palace has certainly been a different proposition in the second half. Noseworthy has got the throw-in, much to the dismay of the Palace fans and of Danny Granville, but much to the delight of the Gillingham fans who are down right by when Noseworthy is taking his throw. On by Tommy Johnson. Danny Granville. Mullins. Butterfield was calling for it, he's got it. Away by Hope. Bertotini. The first goal of the day. Pua is going to get a card here.
Going to get a card, maybe a little bit harsh, I thought. But certainly Andy Hessenthaler and his assistant down there, Richard Hill, were saying to the players, look, turn them round. We don't want to be going into feet. We want to go into the space. I think it's hard, isn't it, on a Pua?
A bit soft.
Yeah.
Popovic to Butterfield, now Rihilati. Friedman miscued away by Noseworthy.
Had to be a touch from Dougie. Had to be a touch. It was coming in so hard. You've either just got to trickle them round the corner, glance them on, or have a touch and get it away with some quick feet. But trying to whack it hard like that, big backlift of a driven cross, he had no chance.
Well, Trevor Francis has only a few minutes left to maintain his 100% record against Gillingham. 6 times he's come up against them as a manager, 6 wins. But Andy Hessenthaler's Gillingham, twice been ahead, find themselves battling for a point. Or do they? Have they got something to say yet with a free kick like that? It's now the last minute of normal time at Selhurst Park. Sean Derry. Ratledge. Sense of anticipation around Selhurst. Butterfield delivers. Away by Pennock. It's retrieved by Derry. Powell. Friedman. Pua.
No shortage of bravery from the Gillingham defenders though. They've been on the back foot for most of the game, but Hope, Ashby and Pennock have done a sterling job. The 2 centre-backs and 1 in front, getting their head on most things. They've done a real good job for Gillingham today.
Palace though are plugging away. Butterfield. Off the shins of Smith. Friedman. Granville. And Black just skipped away from him.
That was worth a go. Danny Granville cut back on his left foot, should have been the curler. Instead passed it back a little, trying to go one further to Tommy Black.
Black. And Barton is there.
One of the changes made, he's had a decent second half, hasn't he, Tommy Black? But I think you'll remember that chance where he just had to cut it back and they could have gone in the lead, Palace. I mean, that was a poor option taken by him on that occasion.
Well, only 3 minutes of added on time, and if Pua and Powell square up to each other, but that'll soon be sorted out.
A lot in this. I don't know what they're getting upset about, the boys. There wasn't a lot, was there? Just a lot of flame. Oh, that's a nice one on the old bush. Yeah, that's what they're getting upset about.
Well, ironically, Palace have been the better side in the last quarter of the game, but they have some defending to do now. Over a minute left. Added on time. Palace and Gillingham locked together at 2-2. Mullins. Granville. And Barton able to pluck it out of the air.
Mullins did well. He was struggling to get to the ball, Shaw putting him under pressure. A little curler down the line. First time ball from Granville, and well, it was always Barton's.
Well, Barton has booted that into touch. Hilati is struggling a bit, but he's only got a few seconds to see out. Derry to Butterfield, and one last surge now maybe from Palace. Tommy Black. Oops. Johnson. Another wild ball from him.
Tommy spotted there, but the dink over the top would have done, so Palace had to run it down.
And it's all over, and it's all square. Francis seeing his side draw yet again, but they're in the mood for a victory here at Selhurst Park, and they nearly got one. His team finished stronger. Wayne Routledge, the star of the show, just 17 years of age. It was he who came to their rescue, as twice the Eagles had to come from behind. Both these teams badly hit by injuries and suspensions. They have some key players to come back. We'll be hoping that things improve as the season goes on. But it ends at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 2, Gillingham 2.
Coming up on Sky Sports 2 for you, La Liga, Valencia, the champions, at home to Rayo Vallecano. And at 9 o'clock, San Diego against New England, NFL, live and exclusive and interactive for you on Sky Sports Extra.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Welcome back. Lenny Lawrence is with me. Lenny, Palace won't be happy with just a point, but they've got to be pleased about coming back twice, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. They've come from behind twice in the game, and they threatened to get the winner as well. A little bit more composure, especially from Tommy Black there in that chance when he got to the byline. They might even have snatched it. I think probably a draw was a fair result. I think Gillingham were quite dangerous on the break. But, you know, as I say, it'll feel more like a win because they've come from behind twice.
Gillingham well worth the opening goal, though, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that they always look dangerous on the break. He's got the wrong side of him again down the byline. There's that opening goal, and that's where they had a little bit of misfortune where it's just ricocheted out to Perpetuini. But, you know, he's on his wrong side there. You don't let him down the byline. You have to show him inside there. Rob Wallace has done well. Perpetuini gets a little bit of fortune.
He's a new goalkeeper. Is there any misunderstanding there with the defender, or is it just one of those things?
So. I think it's just he saved it there, and it's just ricocheted off the defender into his path. I think he's been a little bit unfortunate there. The damage was done when he was allowed to get down the byline.
Yeah, it went into half-time, didn't it? 1 up to Gillingham. The second half, you spotted it straight away. Crystal Palace changed their system, and it had an effect, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, credit to him, Trevor. He's been bold there. You know, he hasn't waited 15 minutes. He's changed it right from the start to wing-backs. That gives you better angles to your passing, obviously, but it does leave space down the side of your defenders. And, you know, they still weren't quite right at the back, you know, trying to play a higher line as they were, Palace, but what it did do, it made them much more effective going forward. They played it around and got balls into feet around the edge of the box, and you know, they looked much more like scoring.
In a sense, they got the goal gap back because of the change of system, and they gave a goal away because of the change in many ways.
That's
but
exactly
this is the equaliser.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the Gillingham defender knows what he doesn't even realise that Granville's coming in. You know, he's nice little set, nice little cross. He's really coming and attacked it, Danny Granville, but knows what he doesn't even know. He's too side on. He's not even aware of him coming in. Whether if he had been, you know, you'd hope he could have done something. You know, he's standing there really when Granville's jumped in across him and tucked it away.
Well, that was 1-1. We'll carry on with that in a second or two. Let's first of all go down to the tunnel area where Dickie Davis is with the Gillingham player manager, Andy Hessenthaler.
Andy, are you happy with the draw in the end?
Well, certainly. I mean, I think I'll have probably taken a point before the game under the circumstances. You know, preparation's not been great with the injuries we got and the suspension. So, all in all, really pleased with the point.
Your keeper coming off so early didn't exactly help, did it?
No, and the captain got a knock in the first half as well. And to be fair, he really shouldn't have gone out second half, but he's dug in and gone out there and got through it. Paul Smith. You know, a young left back, first game for the club as well. Got a little bit tired second half, and the boy he was playing against was a terrific little player. So it was a baptism of fire really for him.
That said, not many shots on target in the game, but you did go ahead twice.
Yeah, that's a disappointing thing really. We've gone ahead twice and we've let them back in, but you know, the pressure we to sustain, you know, it was very difficult to keep them out. And you know, on another day maybe we would have done that, but you know, full credit to them, they come at us.
What do you think about the second goal? Is your man claiming it, or do you think it was an Hayden Mullins' own goal?
Oh, it's Guy's goal without a doubt. He'll definitely claim that. He's already claimed it in there straight away. That's my goal. So I'm happy to give it a go, no problem.
But luckily Gillingham looked like they were getting back on the right foot again, because you started so well in the season, had not a miserable run, but a more difficult run, but a good result here today.
Yeah, so any point away from home's a good point, and as I say, with the player, I think we've got about eight or nine first teamers out at the moment, and we're drafting a few kids in. Good experience for them, but if we can get a few more of the players back, hopefully we can kick on again. I mean, Rod's first game today, he's not played all season, he got a little bit tired, so we get a few more players back, and as you say, hopefully we can go on a decent run then.
Even with your calf injury, I dare say you were still kicking every ball from the touchline.
Yeah, I kicked every ball, and I think I made it worse, to be honest.
Thanks for your time, Wada.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Andy Hessenthaler there, and he was talking there about the goal, Giapua claiming it, but as we were saying earlier, although they got the goal back, Crystal Palace, they had no right back, did they, to defend the cross?
Yeah, I mean, when the cross came in, obviously at that time, Routledge was playing as a wing-back at that time, so you're not going to expect him to get back in there, obviously. So when the cross comes in, it's a deep one right over the top, and that's where the right back would normally be, and it's back across the goal with a good header. Whether it's Mullins' goal or Guy Ipua's goal, you know, it's difficult. I mean,
well, Ipua's claiming it, but what do you think?
I think Mullins is probably got enough. Mullins, he's on the outside there, you see. He's on the outside of him, yeah, it looks like Mullins' goal to me. You know, he needed to get round on the inside a bit quicker to have a chance of keeping that out.
I'm sure Guy Ipua will keep on claiming it.
I'm sure he will.
OK, stay with us. We've got the Wayne Routledge goal to come up very shortly as well. And he was a star of the match, as well as the man of the match, wasn't he?
He played in three positions, didn't he? He played wide right in a 4-4-2. Then he's had a little spell at wing-back. And then he's got up the front and done very well there and scored a goal. So, I mean, that's not bad for 17 years of age, is it?
OK, we'll talk about him in a second or two. With his goal as well, as he says, Lenny, he was the man of the match here at Selhurst Park. And we'll be talking to him, hopefully, in a few seconds' time, when you rejoin us here at Selhurst Park.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
You're waiting for war.
I am no longer. Tomorrow has come. He has come to the child. You must protect him.
So now it's not just the kid we're talking about, it's all the civilization that hangs in the balance.
You are his only hope.
Guardian, Thursday at 10 on Sky Movies Max.
Make the most of Gulf Air's Arabian experience. Phone now for a brochure.
You're Triple X. It must be great to go on a mission. How long have you been a secret agent?
2 days.
The fate of the world.
22 minutes to evacuate 1 million people.
Comes down to one man.
Pray he gives us a miracle.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Triple X.
I live for this!
Guess who's cooking tonight? He's butchering a chicken breast as we speak. Oh, now he's sprinkling something on it. What is that stuff?
It's a blend of aromatic spices with a smoky barbecue taste.
Did you get that? Aromatic spices. Yeah. Well, I'll call you tomorrow if I'm still alive.
Well?
Well, make me another one and I'll tell you. Have you tried old El Paso fajitas?
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Welcome back. The news from the dressing room is that Trevor Francis doesn't want Wayne Routledge to be interviewed. 17 years old, wants to keep him under wraps. You agree with that, Lenny?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Quite right as well.
But what a star he could be.
Yeah, he's had a great game. Nothing's fazed him. As I said, sometimes there was a little bit of apprehension about the start of the game, but he showed no fear. He's started at right side midfield, then he's gone to wing back. OK, I'll do that. Then he's gone up the front. OK, I'll do that. So, you know, he certainly seems to have the mental strength for it anyway.
He was sent off a week ago, made his full debut a couple of weeks before that. He's having a good start to the season, isn't he? A good start to his career.
Yeah, interesting times for him. It's appropriate that he should get that equalising goal as well, because he had a big influence on the game.
He'd been involved in quite a few of the moves, the good moves for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, he had, yeah. Danny Butterfield switched as well. He played central midfield initially, Danny, and then he finished up at wing back. I think he had a lot to do with it as well. He's a good passer. I think he's a better midfield player than he is a fullback. Here we go. We've won the ball back there. Just to miss it there, but he's nice, good feet, great close control, good awareness to see the pass and the run. This is early in the first half, obviously. A bit of body strength there, holding him off. He's got good feet, decent cross as well. Could have done with somebody attacking that a bit more. There's as said in the commentary, it's a great first shot. Interesting, before this year that would have been given offside. But obviously he's not paying interfering with the player. He's not active, as you say, but I think previous to this season that would have been probably offside, that goal. But quite rightly it's been given. He's got the thing as well, hasn't he?
He could be a real star, couldn't he?
He could
be. Yeah, we shall watch his progress with interest, and I'm sure another man watching his progress with interest is his manager, Trevor Francis. He's with Dickie Davis.
Trevor, Wayne Routledge did have a terrific game this afternoon for you, didn't he?
Well, he's got great potential for a 17-year-old. What he does, he plays with a smile on his face and he plays with enthusiasm. And if more players up and down the country in this league play with the same kind of enthusiasm, there wouldn't be so much inconsistency in the league.
Do you mean your team or you mean in the league?
I mean in general, including my team. Because you can't perform as we did second half and perform as we did in the first half in the space of 90 minutes. And that's the problem, you know, for any managers in this league. You know, that's why every weekend there's surprise results, because I think it can only come down to the application and the concentration level that's not quite there as it is in the Premiership. Certainly, you know, when you look back at today's game, you know, we've had enough attempts at goal to have come out with a victory, yet we find ourselves with another draw. And that's the reason why, you know, we are where we are in the league at the moment, because we've got to learn to convert draws into victories. I think the way we've played this season after 11 games is not reflected in our points total. But we know what we have to do, and we certainly have to improve, certainly on the first half showing.
What did you do at half-time, though, because on what was said, because you've changed things certainly for the second half, and it had an immediate impact?
Yeah, I'd like to have changed about 10 players, but that wasn't possible. Probably would have left Routledge on. He was the one that played with a bit of spark. The others, I felt as if it was an afternoon where they would sooner be in the park. I can't understand their application because I've not had a problem all season. You know, we've played 11 games up to now, including the League Cup tie, when they've been very good. You know, but the first half performance was one that I was annoyed about, and certainly I hope it doesn't happen again. It forced me into a change of tactics. I went to 3 at the back. And certainly the second half performance, I've got no complaints. You know, we did enough in the second half to have won the game. We've scored 2 goals. We've conceded another one. But I thought some of our attacking play, the way we passed the ball, the way we got it wide, our forward movement from the front players was excellent. We got Dougie Freeman just in behind the front, and we looked a very good side. But there's no excuse for the first half showing.
And all that with a goalkeeper that you'd only signed on Friday evening.
Well, that's right. I mean, he didn't have much to do, did he, to be fair? So it wouldn't have mattered who had been in goal. But we've had our problems at the early part of this season, you know, with injuries. No manager gets sympathy if he talks about injuries. So all I'll say is that we're without 6 key players today.
Do you feel the pressure? I mean, the side disappointed you in the way they played first half and they impressed you the way they've played second half. But do you feel the pressure because people are talking about the fact that Trevor Francis may lose his job?
Well, we've got, what, 35 games to go. So all I know is that, you know, when we get some more players back to full fitness, we've got a very good squad. And I'm very optimistic about the future. I believe that this squad here can certainly take the team into a higher position, and I wouldn't rule out, you know, getting to the playoffs this year. It's very, very early doors at the moment.
So you're still confident that you will keep your place here?
Sorry?
You're still confident that you'll keep your job here?
Well, I've never thought otherwise. I mean, if you want to ask those sort of questions, you've got me to do an interview here about the game today. If you need to know about my position, then either look at my contract, which says I've got 3.5 years left, or go and talk to my chairman, Simon Jordan.
Thanks for your time, well done.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Trevor Francis there, a bit on the spot, and upbeat though, Lenny, about the second half performance, and he has a right to be, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was bold and brave, and he changed the shape of the team at half-time. And he got an instant reward for it, really. I mean, I haven't seen Palace enough to know whether that suits them better or not, but certainly they did enough going forward, as he says, to win the game, really. I mean, and Gillingham have just been dangerous on the break. They're always like they've scored 2 goals from not a great amount of chances, really. And another day Palace might have won, but it's like that when you're just lacking a little bit of confidence. But he'll be pleased to have come back from that.
So really, both teams can take something
from
the game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think Gillingham miss him most of all, Andy Hessenthaler. I think he's the best player. I think they miss him most of all. And he'll be happy, and Trevor will be at least relieved that he's come back from behind twice and got something out of it.
OK, let's have a look at the table and how that result affects it. At the bottom end, Brighton still rooted down there. Grimsby above them now after their win over Brighton. Sheffield Wednesday in that 3rd relegation spot at this stage of the season. Crystal Palace, 16th position. They've moved up 3 places. At the other end, the top end of the table, Portsmouth still out in front, Leicester in 2nd, Norwich in 3rd. We're next at Carrow Road for Norwich against Leicester. Gillingham in 10th position. They've moved up 2 places. Well, Lenny, you must be very pleased about how things are going at Cardiff. Not only top of the table in terms of points, but in terms of attendance as well. So all round going very well for you. Yeah,
it's a big club. We had a little bit of an indifferent start. We lost a game and drew a couple of games, but we've done very well lately, apart from a last-minute blip at Plymouth on Tuesday. We'd have won about 5 or 6 on the trot. But, yeah, we're going well, and it's, we've got a fantastic support.
And you're playing a good team yesterday who took the lead against you.
Yeah, they're one of the better teams in our league. It's a great goal. I mean, we've given him too much space here, but it's a great thread. Watch. And the boys finished very early. The keeper's a little bit unlucky there. It just hit him on the shoulder. But they're a useful team. It took us a lot for all 14 players. That's a disallowed goal. That's not an equaliser. That was one that was disallowed. Reece Weston does brilliant here to get to the byline. This is the first goal. In fact, Ernie just gets a little bit of he doesn't actually get a good connection there. It bobbles into the net, but at least he was there to do it. The winning goal's missing off that thing, which was also scored by Robert Earnshaw.
That's his 10th of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, he's flying at the moment.
At the other end of the table, Mansfield promoted but rooted to the bottom. Huddersfield, Cheltenham and Swindon down there. At the top end of the table, there you are, Lenny, sitting proud. Point ahead of Queen's Park Rangers, Oldham and Wigan. But it's pretty tight, Lenny.
Yeah, it is. If we hadn't have won that yesterday, if we'd have lost, and we've got both the goals came in the last 10 minutes, we would have been 4th or 5th. So, it is quite tight there. QPR, Oldham are doing very well. Wigan, you would expect to be up there. So, we're going to lose a game in a couple of weeks when the Welsh game comes around. We're going to be postponed, I would imagine. So, we'd like to be top when that happens, really.
So you're heading for this league?
We hope.
In Division 3, remember there's 2 to go down from Division 3 this season for the first time. And in those positions at the moment, it's Boston and another Welsh team, west of Wales. Swansea down there, Lenny. Carlisle just above them. At the top of Division 3, Hartlepool, Rochdale and Torquay all on 21 points, with Wrexham and Rushden and Diamonds behind them in 4th and 5th. Lincoln in 6th position. Coming up for you on Sky Sports, the Monday night football team. We'll be looking at West Bromwich Albion and Blackburn Rovers. That's on Sky Sports 1 from the Hawthorns tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And then next Saturday, well, 3rd against 2nd in Division 1. That's a collision of the early season giants, Saturday at 5:30 on Sky Sports Extra. Next on Sky Sports 2, it's the champions, Valencia against Rayo Vallecano from La Liga. And at 9 o'clock tonight on Sky Sports Extra, it's NFL, live and interactive, San Diego against New England. So, Lenny, obviously both teams not delighted with their point, but happy to go away here, I think, with something out of the game.
Yeah, both of them came in having won 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 or whatever it was. So, you know, I suppose in some ways that was predictable. You wouldn't have thought it would have been 2-2. A 0-0 or a 1-1 would have been more likely. But to be fair, Gillingham were dangerous on the break when they on the few occasions they got round Palace's area. They looked likely, and Palace improved beyond that. All recognition in the second half and deserved it. So whichever way you dress it up, I think it's probably a fair result.
OK, Lenny, thanks very much. Unlike at the Belfry, where the Europeans have beaten the Americans, the red, white and blue came back twice here, but didn't win. The match was halved. From us all, bye for now.